Hold on. A semicircle or polygonal vaulted recess typically found at the liturgical east of a church, cathedral, or basilica. Alright. Hemispherical, semi-dome vault. Hold on.
Where I got it, and I was working as a part-time undergraduate, not graduate, part-time.
For more words and meanings, click and subscribe to WordWorld. This word is pronounced as apse. Apse. A small area in a church, often in the shape of a semicircle, and usually at the east end of the building.
Well, someone kept thinking that we were trying to say ass, but that's a donkey. But no, that's not what this is. So there you go. Anyways. Oh my goodness, yeah. Almost identical. That's amazing. Wow. Very, very cool. Oh my goodness. Wow. Very cool. Just water you. Hello. You're welcome. Yeah, we had some rice earlier. We've had a coffee, water, rice. That's it today. Yeah, some days we wouldn't have eaten by now, and sometimes we just have a protein shake, or not even that. Sometimes we just have coffee and tea for the day. It depends, really. You're welcome. Now that is kind of loud for reading. I'm gonna put this over here, actually. You're welcome. Yes, I sure hope so. Thank you. On the window in the very center of the apse, in breathing majesty, rose the throne of the Virgin Mount of Carmel, with the infant, eternal fire. Where was I? From the outside, the major chapel appeared to be a superb, impregnable fortress. Inside it, be a superb. Oops, hold on. Inside, I almost repeated a line. I either skip or repeat a line. Inside, it was a bit of paradise brought down to earth. Its many and marvelous paintings, lost in a maze of climbing Gothic lines, vied with the gold that glistened everywhere. It was a hymn in art and stone. Yeah, I can be kind of frivolous when it comes to some things, but I try to be right on point where it matters, you know? Nuno built this shrine to his lady out of the great riches that had been given him, and he endowed it with revenues for the centuries to come. Portugal was not to forget the Blessed Virgin and the brown scapular. From the beginning, it was Nuno's intention to entrust the wonderful edifice to the order of Carmelites. When it was finally ready, he wrote to Father Alphonse of Alfama, Vicar General in the convent of St. Mary in Mora. The letter begins, "Before all else, I kiss the holy scapular the precious gift which the Mother of God brought down from heaven in defense of her friars. Then he requests Father Alphonse to send him a certain number of Carmelite religious, but that they be good Portuguese and devoted to their country, in order that they might have the care of the new church. The same kind of care. Please send a priest. I'm sorry, ma'am, we're all out of priests. Will you take an altar boy? Has he been trained properly? Don't send one of those heathens, that's for sure. Yeah, well, you know, they say that. Sort of like someone that you might trust with a hair iron, you would not trust driving your car. And then someone you might trust driving your car, you wouldn't let near you with a hot iron. Yeah, I guess it all depends. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not being biased or racist, right? Is it being a bit biased? We wouldn't even call it biased or racist. Favoritism? Judgmental. Precautious. Yes, exactly. Let's see, marvelous Gothic lines vied with the gold that glistened everywhere. It was a hymn in art and stone. Nuno built this shrine to his lady out of the great riches that had been given him, and he endowed it with revenues for the centuries to come. Portugal was not to forget the Blessed Virgin and the brown scapular. Oh, I was over here, you're right. In order that they might have the care of the new church. Father Alphonse sent the religious of the new one. They better not be doing things the old-fashioned way. Fuck that. Right? Have you ever seen, remember when they got the new things that could pull teeth? I know, and you just thought of those wrenches, and you're like, oh my gosh, like how could we have been using those wrenches when they have these things? Well, they just came out. We didn't have these before. Ungrateful bastard. Be lucky you get a wrench. What kind of insurance do you have? Hold on. But that they be good Portuguese devoted to their country in order that they might have the care of the new church. Right, and I mean, again, you might have that care and wherewithal. Look, they haven't given us the new stuff yet. I know they exist. They're out there somewhere. I've seen them. I know. I wish we had one, but we don't. Do you want me to rip that out for you or not? Okay, let's shut the fuck up. But damn it, why is it I gotta take the heat for all of this? I know, it's so funny. Just when you can apply that to bubble gum and oil and eggs, magic tricks, sales pitches. You can actually apply it to just about anything. Right, so when you have people that want to say, okay, well, you know what, we do have the new ones. No, that one's going to get the old wrench. The wench gets the wrench, huh? Look, we can't do that much. You know what they did back in 1968? Let me tell you something. Look it up. Looking at me, mental hospitals and stuff. Yeah, so I mean, when that's been happening for years, it's not a fucking secret, it's nothing new. And it's just really bad what's been going on in some of our communities. Yeah, so hopefully the proper authorities do what they're supposed to do to help our children here. Father Alphonse sent the religious gladly. With them he sent the Reverend Dr. Gomes. Dr. Gomes, Gomes, Dr. Gomes. Gomez, could be Gomez. Yeah. There's no, well, maybe Gomez. I think you're right. Reverend Dr. Gomez, a Carmelite preacher known, and the Reverend throughout Western Europe to be prior. Nuno said that he would take care of all expenses, provide for their maintenance in perpetuum, 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 in so far as possible, and in his profound religious humility he added, in doing all these things I shall but render to God that which God has already rendered to me. Isto e tornar e dies aque mi antes presto. In 1397, most probably in the month of May, the Carmelite friars took possession of the yet incomplete church and convent. One may wonder why Nuno should have chosen the Carmelites rather than the Dominicans or the Cistercians. Perhaps one reason was that the king had already erected monuments to Our Lady, one to Our Lady of the Rosary, and the other to Our Lady of Victory, and entrusted it to those other merry-minded orders. Some biographers say that this choice was governed by his attraction to the austerity of the Carmelite rule, but this is hardly terrible, since there was little difference between the Carmelite rule, as mitigated under Saint Simon Stock, and the rule of the Dominicans. Whatever the reason, there were three great devotions in the life of Nuno towards Mary: the scapular, the rosary, and the memorare, all three tied together, supporting his Marian life like the ramparts of the Basilica. The scapular was a devotion of affiliation, the memorare was a reminder of that affiliation, and the rosary was its perfecting element. In giving the scapular, Nuno heard Our Lady saying, "Come to me, wear my sign, and I will make you a saint." In the rosary, with her mysteries filling out of the symphony of the sequence of Ave Marias, he heard her say, "If you will be perfect, if you will find my Son, even on earth, imitate me." And Portugal was not to forget. If it should forget Mary, it would forget its true queen and be lost. What does it have to do with disclosure? Oh yeah, interesting question. Good timing, I think. Yeah, so when you think about people that don't really fully understand a lot of those things when it comes to, I wouldn't even say fully understand, but maybe people, you don't have all the answers. Where did this rock come from? I have no idea. Okay, well then you don't know what you're talking about, and we can't trust your opinion. I don't know where the fuck they just dug that rock up from. It could have come from the backyard. It could have come from China. I don't know. It could have come from another planet, possibly. So you believe in aliens? You're saying aliens exist then? Wow, you know what? It gets that stupid with a lot of these things and investigations, and when you're dealing with like down-to-earth things, and you have these people and these activist groups and criminals that have been playing these games for a long time in these communities, people are zeroing in and are fed up with a lot of those games, and that's probably where the disclosure comes in with a lot of that, and bringing education, because so many people, whether they're mainstream news people or salespeople, lawyers, citizens, druggies off the street, good well-rounded people off the street, good well-rounded druggies off the street. And you never really know what you get. Life is like a box of chocolates. What does that even mean? Off the street. Some bum off the street. You know, you should never judge a book by its cover. Don't be stupid though, right? I mean, exactly. So I think the disclosure for a lot of people, and when you see what's been going on with that over the years, and the coast to coasters and the taters and the hazers, and how that's all connected with a lot of these pranks and the child and animal pornography, and then how a lot of people will use the fact that you don't know where that rock came from. Look, they're stupid. See, they're stupid. Putin! They don't know anything. They're gaslighting you. They're gaslighting you. See, they don't know anything. Look how stupid they are. Hey, Jen Leno, you want to go ask some college kids from the fucking Valley area some off the wall fucking questions not too many people would know about a war from 1917? See, look how dumb these kids are. They don't know anything. Jay, what happened to your ear? Oh, one of your expensive cars attacked you? Did it have a name? Probably, huh? You want to help report the facts, or are you allowed to talk about vaccines? Is it all a conspiracy? Just the stupid retards are gonna get sick? It just blows your mind. You try to understand how people are justifying it to themselves, and they're doing anything they can to justify it to themselves because they wanted to take the payout in the moment and just hope that it would all pan out. I had no idea. Get the fuck out of here. Nasty fucking people. I really hope the proper authorities do what they're supposed to do to help our children here. You're welcome. Yes, thank you. Craziness. Craziness, craziness. Imitate me, and Portugal was not to forget. If it should forget Mary, it would forget its true queen and be lost. The same was true of the entire world, but Nuno did not feel sent to the entire world. He felt that he had been sent to Portugal. Moreover, now that his work was done, he wanted to go and follow Mary more completely as a reward for his service as a knight. His lady was calling him to a new greatness. One by one, she snapped the claims that bound him to earth. Through the trial that led Nuno to self-exile, through the deaths of his wife and daughter, through the inspiration to sell all and give to the poor, and to go and seek God in solitude. The one we were just watching, yeah, that's really sad. Those are sad stories to listen to, 15 years old, getting caught up in all that. So again, all these stories we hear day after day after day, it's so sad. And the people that work with these stories, I mean, you could see, were they in uniform? Plain clothes, yeah? So are they considered ICE? Police? Undercover investigators? Now, does the ICE come before or after that? Both. Right. I mean, when you start to understand some of the training programs and systematic things, fire drills, yeah, it's not that hard. Yeah, so you want the anesthesia first. I mean, we can pull that first or do the surgery first if you really want us to, but most people want the anesthesia first. I mean, we don't have to be so systematic if you don't want to abide by all the rules. So stupid. Here, you want us to, though? Oh, okay. Right. I mean, it's just common sense stuff. People are just playing stupid when and where they want to fit their own fucking narratives and justify their bullshit. Yeah, it's pretty scary, but yeah, over and over again we see those cases and we're always back to square one. The programs, the public school systems, there's 100,000 public schools in our country. And if those programs had been implemented back in the 90s, imagine. And they did implement that in some parts of the world. And look at how good they're doing. Amazing. It makes you want to cry. I don't even want to think about it. It's so sad. Just basic skills and training, the job programs for the kids, the card programs, teaching them about law and order, basic kind of behavior, when it comes to dealing with getting a job or dealing with law enforcement if you get pulled over. Right, and it's just really weird how some of them are teaching don't give your name, don't you talk to them, defund the police. Okay. Did you listen to too much Ice Cube? I think he was kidding. Was he kidding? I mean, I don't really think he wanted you to fuck the police. I mean, I don't know, maybe. It just seems pretty stupid, right? So yeah, just imagine if they had implemented those programs, that 15-year-old might not have been out doing that stuff. And when you have these fucking idiots that profit from the bullshit and pushing drugs and alcohol on our kids, you gotta lock them up, you gotta lock them up. You just keep letting these criminals out running the street, you gotta lock them up, you gotta lock them up. It's like, well, I mean, if those programs had been implemented, they wouldn't be out there doing that stuff to begin with, right? And to the ones that are and do, thank goodness we have programs to lock them up. And that's exactly what the fuck they do. Hopefully they're not mandating medications, and that's what they do with a lot of those programs nowadays. You get in any kind of trouble, a lot of times they want the drugs too. You're in those places, it helps them sleep, it makes them feel good. Right, and then once they leave those places, they drastically lower the doses because they don't want to give them such powerful doses. Right, so then what they do is when they leave those places, they go and seek other things. Right, so I mean, it just gets really sad and disturbing when you start to really comprehend all of that. And imagine if they didn't have to worry about money or getting a job or supporting whatever habits, wanting to just go. A lot of them just want to go smoke weed, right? And look at the places where it's been legalized. Yeah, and if you want to put side by side the kids that get over medicated with ADHD medications, as opposed to the ones that didn't have anything, that doesn't necessarily mean give them all weed or marijuana, but yeah, they have shown in a lot of the cases where small amounts of CBD or THC is much more beneficial than the powerful ADHD. Very powerful mind-altering chemicals. Not to mention the fact that they can very easily overdose on one prescription. They can also easily dissolve that into a small cup and stick it in your drink, and they have done this. And many adults have been killed by their own kids. Are we lying? Come on, tell me I'm lying. No, we haven't. Haven't lied about one thing when it comes to those kind of things. We don't fuck around with that shit. We wouldn't lie about any of that kind of stuff. And it's really sad and disturbing how a lot of the fucking pieces of shit, druggy, cunt, slut, nasty druggies around here have been lying about that stuff for fucking years. Yeah, well, our kids are getting fucked and tortured, and the child and animal pornography they make and feed to these chasers isn't a fucking joke, and they've been blowing the fucking whistle, believe me. They've been blowing the fucking whistle big time. Yeah, they don't really have a choice. Even if they fucking hate our guts and want to protect their buddies and don't care about our kids, they don't have a fucking choice. Believe me. And if you have any kind of fucking heart, you'd understand you don't have a fucking choice. Because if you're any kind of decent human being, you wouldn't turn your head to a little kid being beat up, no matter how fucking sick and stupid their parents are. If you see a 5-year-old getting beat up by a grown adult, are you going to help them, or are you going to turn your head? You going to turn your head if you see a 5-year-old getting beat up?
You have to.
So he just said you have to. You have to. Really? What's that?
It's a law.
Okay, so those are some of the sickos protecting the sick punks next door with my children. That's what we're dealing with here, folks.
Right. So anyone else, if you saw a 5-year-old getting beat up, there's not one person in class, Timothy, Sonia, or Larry. There's not one person in class that said they would turn their head. And they think what you just said is fucking pathetic and that you're a sick piece of shit.
So you're okay.
Everyone in class agrees on that. And we got a lot of people in class. Why would you even say that?
Just to get you going.
Just to get me okay? You really have problems. What do you think about the sicko next door with my kids?
Yeah.
Fucking torturing them.
Taking care of them.
He's taking care of them. What about the little boy he beat up in the tub?
That's too late. That's gone by.
It's too late and gone by.
Yeah.
But you think it's okay for him to have custody of little kids who can't talk and tell you the abuse they're going
He's
through?
not doing that. He's doing a hell of a job.
Okay. So we're not going to talk to you anymore. I'd shut your fucking mouth right now, you sick motherfucker. Anyways,
What you're saying.
we're on page
What I'm
136.
saying, or you go somewhere.
I don't really need to. I think I am watching what I'm saying. And with what you just said, I should be doing a lot more. Most people would take your fucking head off, you sick fuck.
Okay.
Alrighty.
No more of that bullshit here. That's enough of that. I'll go in your
Cheers.
room and study.
No problem. We're just reading a book, Father. Not Father. Someone like you is no father of mine. You're a sick fuck. Page 136. And Portugal was not to forget. If it should forget Mary, it would forget its true queen and be lost. He just said he'd turn his head to a 5-year-old getting beat up, and the little boy that sick fuck beat up in the tub is gone by. So just to understand, and that's the sicko that's been protecting fucking drug traffickers and sluts. Right. I mean, we could go on, and we could care less, and we don't expect anything to be done about that. We expect the proper authorities to help our children in the hands of that sick fucking punk next door that these fucking sluts and pieces of shit around here are protecting. Yeah, that's exactly what we expect. Exactly. You're welcome. Thank you. We have good people that work with us. Because any normal person would take a sicko's head off in a heartbeat, knowing what's going on here. If they had the chance and they were in the same room with them, not everyone can be so composed. You see investigators that have to do it every day, right? Yeah. So same thing, but when it's your own kids, right? Imagine they're doing that and it's other people and other people's families and kids, and that's hard enough, right? Imagine if it was your own. I know they all say the same thing. They'd fucking lose it. Yeah, they'd take that motherfucker's head off. I don't remember the cop. He even said if he found out his school had hired someone with that record, remember that little boy that got beat up? Yeah, he said he'd fucking flip out. Right, so I think we're doing a pretty good job considering. And Portugal was not to forget. If it should forget Mary, it would forget its true queen and be lost. Yeah, exactly. The same when you say Jesus. Right, it's not necessarily talking about any person or somebody named Jesus. Anybody named Mary. Right, it's a patronage to a system, an understanding, almost when, when they would put certain laws into place, like, what was it Adam, William Shatner's son, Adam? And they put Adam's Law or something into effect, so when there's a missing child, Adam Alert or something. Right, something like that. Right, so that doesn't mean that anyone with that name has the respect or an association tied to that thing. Or the disdain or bad reputation that might be associated. Right, I mean, a lot of people get stuck in that and just use it as an excuse to justify their own sick bullshit and things they've been doing. I mean, as you can see, it's really fucking disturbing what's been happening here. Right. Thank you. The same was true of the entire world, but Nino did not feel sent to the entire world. He felt that he had been sent to Portugal. Moreover, now that his work was done,
He wanted to go and follow Mary more completely. As a reward for his service as a knight, his lady was calling him to new greatness. One by one, she snapped the chains that bound him to earth.
I said, no, that's an actual real person. Yeah, no, people didn't think that someone could be that disgusting and disturbing and thought that I was talking to a wall or something. You know, it's actually what we've been dealing with. The private investigator in 2009, that's one of the people he was trying to tell about the Mayan drug trafficking. Yeah, his son's one of the ones that have been doing the drug trafficking with those things for years. Yeah, and when those are some of the crimes and associations that others use as an open door to do investigations on our family. Get everyone with what last name? Right, we've been dealing with this stuff our whole lives. We sure hope so. But yeah, no, that was a real person. Unbelievably true. It makes us sick. It's made us sick since we were kids. It's one of the reasons we were put on the programs long ago. They're well aware of those things. You're welcome. Thank you.
One by one, she snapped the chains that bound him to earth. Through the trial that led Nuno to self-exile, through the deaths of his wife and daughter, through an inspiration to sell and give to the poor, and to go and seek God in solitude. Such was Mary's way. Nuno did not know that. When he chose Mary to be his lady, and chose the scapular to be his token from her that he was to wear and make glorious by bravery and self-sacrifice out of his love for her, he little guessed that this simple turn of all his intentions, directing them to God through Mary, would lead to his greatness, to his country's independence, and to sainthood for himself. What's that, sir? It's those kind of attitudes in people that get police officers killed. I know this. Trust me, I know. Yeah, we're actually not going to discuss that probably at the moment, so we don't cry. I know for years we've had that discussion quite often in a lot of those classes and groups. And when you try to explain that to those kind of people in a nice way, not to belittle or blame them, but just to kind of bring awareness to maybe help bring less death and suffering onto other innocent people. Yeah, and then when you hear the responses, it makes you so sick and angry. I know. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Mary would lead to his greatness, to his country's independence. Hey, Jamie.
Hey,
How's it going?
good.
Yeah?
I'll get some at the store, okay? Alright.
He never dreamed, as he played at war with his brothers, made different.
I'll get some at the store. Okay.
You having some lunch, Jamie? Oh, okay, good. He never dreamed as he played at war with his brothers. Oh, whoops, I skipped a line. Through Mary would lead to his greatness, to his country's independence, and to sainthood for himself. He never dreamed, as he played at war with his brothers, made different from them, only in that his lady was the Queen of Heaven, and instead of a lady in the court of Lisbon, that he would be hailed centuries later as the savior of his country, and raised to the altars of the Catholic Church. Yeah, it's my oldest. He was born in 2004. He was diagnosed with autism in 2006, shortly after his vaccines that they had warned us about. Yeah, it's interesting. I know. It's very upsetting to us. And I realize that, and the things that the sick fuck says to people, gets them going just to get them going. Oh, you can't say the word baby. And you see how that's played out across these activist groups and stuff. Yeah, it's sick and it's disgusting and it's disturbing.
And you can't just go around like getting angry with those people, and then people get angry with us for not getting them to stop it. Like, what do you want us to do? Send them to their rooms? Right? As you can see, when we say anything, they just feed our diabetic son more hot dogs. And as you can see, they try to interrupt any interaction and act like we're going to feed him tree nuts and kill him, and that they're the only ones that can take care of him. Yeah, he's a sick motherfucking piece of shit, I know. Anyways, centuries later, a man named Grignon de Montfort was Grignon de Montfort, Grignon, Grignon de Montfort, was to give the explanation. As God chose to come to the world through Mary, so he wills that the world should go back through Mary. Hardly had the Carmelites taken possession of the Basilica overlooking Lisbon than Nuno divided all the goods which yet remained into 3 parts. One of these was set aside for the poor, the second was for his grandchildren, and the third, a far smaller part than the other 2, was for his own necessary sustenance. His jewels and his arms he had already distributed among his knights and equerries. His lands, with royal permission, he had willed to those who had cultivated them for him. Towards the end of July in 1422, when the existence of the community in the new covenant had been assured, and the erection of a new Carmelite province in Lisbon had been attained from the Pope, Nuno presented himself at the convent. As usual, there was a great deal of excitement over his coming, and the porter hurried away to get the prior. Father, Nuno said, when Father Gomez had come, I would very much like your permission to live here in a little cell near the porter's lodge and to be present at the community exercises. I know I'm not worthy to join the order, and if I did join, the enemies of Portugal would know that I could no longer lead my troops, and fear of my name being removed, they might attack before we reach national maturity. But I want to be as close to Our Lady as possible, and would prefer that room to my castle. I have some goods to be distributed to the poor, and I would very much like to do it from here. It has all come from Our Lady, and it is to Our Lady that they may come to receive it. Father Gomez listened with wide eyes. When Nuno passed through the streets, crowds gathered. Right now, there were well over 100 admirers who had followed the great knight's cavalcade up the mountain to get a glimpse of him as he came out of the convent. If such a great man were to remain with the community, the crowds would be constant, the solitude of the friars would be destroyed, there would be a constant source of distraction. Nuno read his thoughts. After I am here a while, Father, the Pope will become accustomed to me. When I live in a castle and travel with the troops, I am a national figure. But after I have lived here a while, without property or national distinction, I will soon lose my mystery to them and will cause far less comment in the streets of Lisbon than the current favorite at the arena. Whatever the prior's misgivings, he agreed to let Nuno come. Nuno changed his serious expression to a smile with, I'm usually up here to see the workmen are coming, to see how the workmen are coming. Now I won't have to come up anymore. Nuno went out and dismissed his men, smilingly told the crowd that the Grand Constable of Portugal was leaving for Paradise, a rather good exchange, and personally carried a few belongings that he had brought with him to the small room near the porter's lodge. During the year that followed, he divided his time between prayer in his cell, or at the feet of the Madonna of the Scapular in chapel, and supervision of the construction. To aid in the latter, he had a temporary tower built on the esplanade of the mountain to the south of the apse. The tower was an observatory from which he could see all the building operations,
and could go down to any spot where special supervision or a helping hand might be needed. He often carried building materials himself or aided in placing a stone. From the same tower, Nuno could see the entire city laying beneath him in far-flung panorama. The white houses glittered under the intensely blue Portuguese sky, tufted with its usual feathery clouds. Farther off shone the blue of the sea, and in the distance rolled the blending hues of the mountains of Arapeco. Nuno called it the memories of his sieges, his assaults, the revolution. Against the turmoil that reappeared so vividly before him, he the more rejoiced in the sweetness of his peaceful refuge, and smiled happily on a busy Lisbon harbor, heart of a new and free nation dedicated to Mary, with a new code of morals in the court and in the country, with new shrines to God, with new respect and devotion to our Lord and the Blessed Eucharist. Nuno was happy. Only one thing troubled him. He was a lost soul. He was neither in the world, nor was he in religion. He longed with all his being to fly off to some distant land where no one knew him, and to spend the rest of his days alone with God. Yet he knew that his enemies feared him more than they feared the armies of Portugal. His enemies thought that he was aided by God and was invincible. When he was with his troops, often battles were never fought because the enemy troops knew that he was there. If he left Portugal while the country was not well integrated and self-sufficient, either the Moors or the Castilians, or both, would fall upon the country at once. He was sure of it. And if he entered the monastery, the same would be true. He had to be ready, despite his age, to go with his troops if any enemy action to be taken. Threatened. After passing a year in this manner, he thought of a solution. In 1423, how many years ago would that have been? 602. 17. $1423. So if you had 600 years, you'd be at the year 2023. What year is it? 2026. So if you had 600 to 1423, so you need 603. 603 years ago. Is that right? Let me know. In 1423, a provincial chapter was held at the Carmel in Lisbon. Father Alphonse, the Vicar General, came from Moira to preside. Why does Moira sound familiar? The name of the old woman from Hook, the movie Hook with Robin Williams. The old woman that they are presenting awards to for helping all the orphans, including Peter Panning. Yeah, Moira. It's the name of the old lady that they go visit. Yeah, she lives with Tootles, who lost his marbles. Moira. Yeah, is that it? Moira. I don't know, it might sound familiar to you for another reason, but that's really the only other Moira I can think of. Alright. Came from Moira to preside. To the astonishment of the chapter, Nuno presented himself and asked permission to become a lay brother. Nay, even less than a lay brother. To understand the magnitude of this move, the reader should understand that a lay brother is usually a servant in a religious community. In the Carmelite order, a lay brother is the one who waits on tables, cleans the house, tends the farm, cooks, washes, scrubs, binds broken books, fixes furniture and plumbing, hauls water and wood, tends the fire, takes his orders from almost any priest in the house. Moreover, he takes his orders from the prior to do these things under pain of sin. It is not so much a drudgery as it is a complete submission of the will. Nuno knew this. He understood perfectly what the renunciation of his will would mean. He was binding himself to take orders to menial tasks, he who had given orders to an entire nation. Furthermore, as was mentioned, Nuno did not even ask to be a full lay brother, but a donato. As the Carmelites then called a brother who was not a full-fledged member of the community, a full-fledged lay brother took solemn vows and was really a member of the community, entitled to the respect of all as a real member of the First Order of Carmelites. A donato took only simple vows. He could leave whenever he wished, but as long as he was in the community, he was the least of the community and the servant of all. Nuno had to ask to be a donato because, should enemies threaten the country, he would have to be ready to go with the troops. And despite the lowliness of such a state, that was what Nuno wanted, to be the servant of the servants of Mary. Father Alphonse and the definitions felt that the change would be too great for Nuno. They tried diplomatically to refuse. When Nuno wanted a definite answer, they decided to test his vocation. Word was sent to the king, and His Majesty immediately sent his own son, the Infante Don Duarte, heir to the throne, who, because of his many virtues, had been a special favorite of Nuno's. This attractive young knight, whom Nuno had greatly influenced at the royal court and on the boy's many visits to Nuno's own estates, had gained the name the Chaste. Don Duarte begged Nuno not to humiliate himself. In the name of the king and in the name of Portugal, he asked the Grand Knight to preserve his dignity, to remain a center around which the heart of the new Portugal might turn in a feeling of greatness, warmth, freedom. Is there any freedom, Nuno returned, greater than the freedom to serve God? And is there any freedom more complete than union with Him? Does He not free us from ties of money and property, and selfishness, and avarice, and pride, and inconsistency? Is He not, indeed, the only true emancipator who is free, who does not love God? And so, on August 15th, the feast of the Assumption, the anniversary of his knighthood and of his victories at Aljubarrota and at Thuata, Don Nun Alvarez Perea pronounced the three holy vows of religion. He, the Count of Aram, of Areolius, and of Barcelos, the master of 3 provinces of the kingdom he had helped to establish, the lord and baron of almost countless towns and castles under his command, the greater majordomo, majordomo, majordomo. It's one word, majordomo, majordomo. Majordomo, domo, follow, so it goes when you sing your scales and your arpeggios. Do mi sa mi, follow, so it goes. This is domo. Attagato, Mr. Roof. Oh, it's funny. Greater Majordomo of King John I and Grand Constable of Portugal despoiled himself at the feet of Mary of all his grandeur and was invested in the poor habit of Carmelite friar. When the scapular was placed over his shoulders, he clasped it to his lips. and great tears of joy rolled down his weathered cheeks. The invincible, the unconquerable, had been overcome by his own lady. When he arose, stifling tears of tenderness, a powerful lord, noblest among the noble, had disappeared from this world. There stood in his stead Brother Nuno of St. Mary Carmelite. He was a little over 63 years of age. Page 145 we'll pause on.
It leaves about 67 pages, I think. We'll get through those in a little bit.
You're welcome.
When you take a breath in and breath out, with your eyes closed or open, can you feel a difference? I can. When you're breathing in, go from your eyes closed to your eyes open. I think you're going to feel it become more hollow. It just pushes you back, huh? You're welcome. Yes, thank you. I hope so. It did. It stopped raining. I don't know. I kind of want to make something sweet. Sweet, but not too sweet. I want to make more of these. I had gotten a couple boxes of these because they were 50% off. The almond flour pumpkin. I want to make those again. Those are good. At this time, I don't have the strawberry stuff to make. I use all my strawberries. Ooh, blueberry. I got blueberries. Yeah, we'll put blueberries with it. You're welcome. Yeah, we're going to go in our room too and do some stretches. I'm deciding if I want to make a cocoa or a coffee. Have a nice warm cocoa or a coffee while we make our muffins. All right, talk to you in a little bit.